The Farm Mudgegonga. This morning, Leanne takes me on a tour of the evolving sensory walk, a great way to de-stress and engage all our senses. Let's find out more. Well, it's 7:15 here on a wintry Wednesday morning. Good morning, Leanne.
Morning, Darren.
Thanks for bringing me my coffee too, by the way. We're overlooking the large garden here,
Which will become a grotto.
which will become a grotto, but it's a sensory walk. Can you tell me about a sensory walk?
I can tell you about a sensory walk. Well, I'll tell you about the whole site here if you like. So this will eventually become a grotto in a nod to Jude's Italian heritage. And at the moment, it's still got a little bit of work to be done on it. But to try and explain it to people, it's a sunken pathway that comes in and around in sort of like a horseshoe shape. We're standing up on the top side of it at the moment, so we're looking down into it. It's got a drop of about 1.5 metres,
Easy.
would you say?
Easy.
All around the upper edge, we've planted some lily pillies. We're planning to grow those to a height of about 1.5 metres and keep them trimmed up into a nice hedge, so that when you're down on the walkway, not only are you already on a sunken path that's 1.5 metres down, you've then got a hedge above that which goes up for another 1.5 metres. So it's going to be a very private, sort of secluded area.
Like a room.
Very big one. And on the embankments, all the way around, we've got what's going to become a sensory wall. It's not completely planted out as yet. I'm probably about, what do you reckon, about halfway there?
Yep. Can we take a walk around there?
Yeah, we can.
So what sort of things you got in there?
Down there, so a sensory wall, as the name indicates, it's designed to either stimulate or soothe your senses. So you want to put things that are quite tactile, things that you can feel, smell,
Taste?
see. Yeah, absolutely. Taste. I've got some herbs in there, so that's tasting's no problem. All those sort of things that stimulate the senses, I guess. So I've gone for quite a diverse variety of plants, ranging from things like this first plant that you can see here right up against the rocks. That's blue fescue, so obviously a grass, so that will sort of just mark the entrance to this side of the walk.
And is that a bit spiky to touch?
Well, I wouldn't say it's particularly spiky, but it's blue and it's a very different foliage to what's in the rest of the garden. And so I just wanted that contrast, particularly when you look at the plant that's next to it that a lot of people would know. That's lamb's ear. So that is, as the name indicates, it's very soft to touch.
Oh, it is too.
Yeah, and that will spread out and cover that entire section of the embankment, and it'll also have a mauve flower on it. And then again, we jump through to something quite different again. So we've got two plants staggered here. We've got blue chalk succulent at the bottom there, which once again, you've got that lovely blue colour again, but it being a succulent, it's very different again. And above that is a plant that I wasn't familiar with, but Jude's brought that one in, and it's called rock samphire. And apparently that is an edible plant, and it's something that sailors used to use. It's very high in vitamin C, I believe.
Really?
Yeah, so that's a new one for me.
Well, the ones already that I've touched, they're all a bit different, and I can
Very
imagine
different.
people coming along and
and that's the
feeling
whole
and smelling
idea.
them.
You know, we want people to be able to walk through here and say, oh, wow, look at that, and have a feel of it, or have a taste like this one here. So you've got some creeping thyme.
Yep.
So people will certainly be able to...
We could all do with a bit of that, couldn't we?
More time, please.
Now, they're planted inside this netting or a mat. What's that called?
It's like a hessian mesh. And so that's there to obviously retain the wall. We've got that pegged to the wall. And then where we wanted to put the plants in, we've just cut openings and incorporated some really
Just
nice
to keep
soil.
the soil back, isn't it? Yeah.
To keep the bank in place. And then eventually, with most of the plants that have been put in here, do have a ground cover nature about them. So they will spread, and they will also help to keep the embankment in place. So this next section we've tried to incorporate some natives as well. This next section we've got a ground cover leptospermum. So leptos are tea trees. And then next to that we've got some myoporum, which is and in this case I've gone for the purpurea variety, which has that beautiful purple stem to it, and that's a fantastic ground cover. It'll cover quite a large area and produce lots of tiny little flowers as well.
Beautiful.
Then we've got some things that are jumping away from the natives again. Got some Arctotis, which is a fabulous daisy-style plant, once again of a spreading habit. And next to that, one of my favourite plants, which is phlox. We've got two varieties of phlox in the wall, but this particular one, have a feel of that.
Oh yeah.
Pretty spiky.
That's weird.
Yeah, and it will end up covering a fairly large area, probably maybe about 800. And see the fabulous pink flower, and it's winter flowering.
Perfect. Yeah.
So it'll offset some of the others, which is spring flowering or summer flowering and so forth. And those two, so we've got two plants, given that area that we're covering, there's probably about 1.5, 1.6 metres. I've put two plants in, one above the other. So they should completely cover that section of the bank. And then when they're mature in winter, you will just have this brilliant segment of bright pink flowers. It'll be completely covered in flowers.
I can really see how people can be easily de-stressed here. And
Yeah.
by just touching and taking time to feel and smell.
Yeah.
So what's next? You've mentioned 10 names I've never heard of already, so let's go with the next one.
The next one was another one that I wasn't completely familiar with. It's a gold pearlwort, but it, once again, the foliage actually looks similar to the phlox that it's next to, but it's a lot softer, and it's sort of gold and lime green. So what a fabulous contrast when these guys are all mature. You can have a bank of the prickly green foliage with the bright pink flowers, and then the bright lime green, yellowy foliage next to it. So that should, and I want things that are going to, you can be standing up over there near St Michael's and you can go, wow, look at that colour over there, and then come down and say, let's go and see what that is.
Sorry about the rooster again, listeners. We nearly need Mary to come out and give us a hand again with that one.
No, she take care of him.
What's next?
So jumping along next, we've got some oregano. So obviously beautiful herb, so that can be tasted and smelt and all that sort of thing as well. Jump along, different variety of phlox, going to have the same growth habit as the one with the bright pink flower, only it's got more of a creamy white flower. Then I've popped in, as we get to the area which will be the centre of the grotto, there'll be some sort of a water feature in there, but either side of that central piece I've got some mauve convolvulus. So I've mirrored the sides here so that when you're standing here looking at the centrepiece, you've got matching garden either side.
Stunning.
Yeah, so you've got mauve convolvulus, and then we step that out and you've got some seaside daisies. So lots of flowers through this area, different colours. Then we move past the section that I haven't got round to planting out yet. I'm waiting for the nurseries to get their spring stock in so I can get some nice new fresh little plants in. Got some Vietnamese mint in next, so continuing with our herb theme. And then as we walk around through here, you'll notice that I've mirrored some of the plants there. So we're back to some more phlox, Arctotis and myoporum. Then another little yellow flowering plant, goodenia, but this is, rather than being a shrub variety of goodenia, this is a ground cover spreading one. Fabulous yellow flower on that one. Then we've got some prostrate rosemary. That will also cover that section of the bank. And then another one of the ground cover leptos, and some yellow flowering gazanias with grey foliage. And then right at the start, we've got a stray plant that was in our nursery that needed to go in the ground, and it's Grevillea Mount Tamboretha, which has a spreading habit and is really, really tough. Will put up with the cold winters that we get out here, and has that fabulous red flower on it. So that's where we've got to around the sensory wall at this point in time. And as we've walked around there, we've actually walked around this mound of soil that Dave's built up for us in the middle. And that's hopefully going to be planted out in the next week or two.
So in this centrepiece, what else is going to be here? Some lawn, did you say?
Yes, so we'll have the Canadian maple in the middle. we'll have a short hedge of lily pillies at the top end, and then a hedge of plum gorgeous loropetalums at the bottom end. But then we're just going to sow grass over the rest of this mound so that people will be able to just walk in here to the grotto area and lie on this mound of grass underneath the maple tree and look at the sensory wall. And once the hedge is mature, you'll be in a very private little world of your own. So
I think it sounds like a perfect spot for Dave and I to come down and have our afternoon nap.
naps. Absolutely. You won't be on your own in there, I don't think.
And you're framed either side with some trees, or are these understory?
Oh, so one of what I think will be a highlight of this area are the pincushion hakeas. So either side of the entrance to the pathway, I've planted a pincushion hakea. So they're only probably only about 800 mil high at the moment. But when they mature and they flower, they'll be showstoppers. It's just, Google what the flower looks like. They just, Hakea lorena, pincushion hakeas, really nice specimen plants to have in your garden. So I'm really looking forward to that. Speaking of the lily pillies, that's the hedge that I've planted all the way around the top edge. A lot of people who have lily pillies in their garden at home would know that they can be quite frost tender, and you'll get to winter and you'll get a frost and the tops of the plants will just go black or brown and they look dreadful. I hunted high and low to find a variety that would cope in the open out here at Mudgegonga, and I came up with this one called Forest Flame. So it's an Acmena smithii Forest Flame. We've had quite a few heavy frosts out here already this winter, and it hasn't touched these plants at all.
They're looking healthy.
They are absolutely spot on, these ones. So if you're looking for a variety of lily pilly that is not frost tender, I can thoroughly recommend Forest Flame.
Yeah, good on you. Well, I've loved this walk, Leanne, this morning. And once again, you are my gardening encyclopedia. I was wondering whether you were speaking English still this morning there for a little while with all the different names I've just heard. Thank you so much, Leanne. I can't wait to see this evolve and grow. It will be absolutely stunning. Well done. Thank you.
Thanks, Darren.